Up next on the show, milestones for SmashboxxTV.
A new way to clean plastic out of the ocean.
A possible new venue for the Pro Tour.
And Nick's nitpicks.
You're listening to The Disc Golf Show.
That's right, you are listening to The Disc Golf Show. Before we get into it, The Disc Golf Show is brought to you in part by Final 9 Sports, with 2 locations in California, Northern California specifically. Nick. One in Orangevale, one in Rocklin. And I don't know why I had to look down at my notes to confirm that. I knew that, but you should support local.
California.
No, support local anywhere.
Well, yes.
Wherever your local course is. Support
Agreed.
that locally. Do it.
Agreed.
Yeah. My name is Justin. With me today is
Nick. That's me.
Oh, very good. We got this down. It's polished.
Your pause was much longer than mine, must I say.
Well, I set it up anticipatorily for, is that a word? I don't know.
It sounds like a word.
For you to pause. But then you came in
strong.
like a rocket ship.
See?
And you blasted through that pause.
Support. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I love it.
That's right.
Consummate professionalism.
All right. Before we get into everything, right? Just a couple quick shout outs.
All right.
First, big shout out to Smashbox.
Yeah.
Just because I was on their recent stream. They just hit their 500 episode stream. So big shout out to Terry and JVD. Yeah, I was on the stream and I was chit-chatting a little bit back and forth with them. So big shout out to them. It's an awesome accomplishment. And I'm sure we'll see another 500 out of you guys at least. So for sure. Hopefully. The other one is...
Oh, yeah. Quick shout out to Big E, if you're listening. Apparently... Small world. Big E listens to the show. Co-worker of my wife.
Well, you better be listening.
We just
called you that.
You better be listening, Big E.
Man.
You hear? No, thank you for listening to the show. That's it's always nice to hear that people that you run across and stuff like listen to the show. It always blows my mind.
It is.
Even if you're out on the course and you're like, oh, we run the show at the Disc Golf Show. They're like, yeah, I listen to the show. And I'm like, oh
yeah, I even have people recently go, "Hey, you're from the disc golf show thing, right?" I'm just like,
that'll blow your mind.
Yes,
I haven't run into that yet. I don't think.
Oh
no, we did once. Okay. It was a long time ago when we first started the show, and I remember this because it was hilarious. Like the one guy was like, "Hey, it's those guys," and I went, "Yeah," and Nick's like, I don't know if we're those guys.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if we want to be those guys. Let's find out who those guys are first. Before we claim those guys.
I forgot
about
that.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it has happened once, I guess.
Okay. So moving on. Biggie. Moving on.
Biggie. Yeah.
Great quick shout out here. Now you all know about Trash Panda. Okay. Trash Panda is a manufacturer that uses old used disc golf discs that are recycled and makes new discs out of them, which is a great use because once they get so beat up, you either donate them, you throw them away, or they go into the garbage. And then none of those are good. If somebody can recycle those, more power to them. Big shout out to Trash Panda. What that leads to is recently, there's a Kickstarter out right now. They're 90%
funded.
They still have, I think they had, I want to say like 45 days though. And it's only been maybe a week, I think, which is awesome. Okay. So if you have the chance, go check out Ocean Discs on Kickstarter.
Okay.
By the name, you should know where I'm headed with this. Right. They're taking plastic from the ocean to make, now mind you, this is an MVP box. Don't worry about that. But we do have an item that will have a video up soon with these. But big shout out to them. They're using the waste of plastics that are found in the ocean to make discs. So I just want to shit out. That was bad. Huh?
You're gonna what
big
out?
Shout out.
Oh, okay.
That was close. It was bound to happen, guys. It was bound to happen. And always by me. Always by me. Big shout out to them for using this, like thinking of this, because that's a huge problem. Everybody knows
yes.
it is. And people are always trying to find ways to help clean up the ocean.
And what better way to use that plastic?
Yeah, exactly.
Throw it into a disc golf disc.
Exactly. So big shout out again.
That's cool.
Ocean Discs, and
Ocean
go to Kickstarter,
Discs
check them out, and
Kickstarter.com.
you can support them via there.
Ocean Discs Sea Turtle,
And they
made
do
with
have
ocean waste plastic.
Yeah,
That's
and
actually
they
the big hyphen.
yeah, and they do have their social media, so you can also follow them on there and see what they're up to. Let's move into the recent events.
Let's move into the recent events, Nick.
Yeah. Okay, so
You sigh like.
well, I've
You're
got
like,
critiques.
Okay.
Constructive criticism.
Criticisms. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
There was a couple events that recently happened. The first one was the 2024, and just off of that, let me say this. All right.
You've got a
Just
bone to pick
because-
with 2024?
Yes.
Wow.
You know why? Because every event says 2024 at the beginning. We all know it's 2024. It doesn't need to be in the title of the event. Just call the event what the event name is.
Yeah, but if you're like trying to watch it on like
I get
DGN, you can tell
I
the
get
difference
that.
between
I get that, but
2023
they could
and
literally
2024.
they could put it under
I have made-
2024 year.
I have
and
made
then
that mistake.
there's those ones. Well, yes, you have, but that's you. Okay, so listen.
Oh, I see.
Check this out.
I
Hear me
see.
out. Just hear me out.
Folks, the coffee's tepid.
Just
You won't get that reference, but I will. And
a
it's
couple
funny.
people will.
Believe me.
Just hear me out here. When I go onto the thing to see what events are coming up, and it's only, guys, it's not the biggest thing. It's just a little thing that I noticed.
Sure.
When I do the show notes, I'm looking at the upcoming events. I'm looking at the past events. Every single one is 2024. I know it's 24. We all know it's 2024.
We all know it's 2024.
Just call the event name. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Minor issue. Okay. 2024
Kind of sounds like a hill you're ready to die on. Nick.
Texas State's Disc Golf Championships. All right. The previous winners leading up to this, I think we talked about it last show, were Calvin Heimberg and Cyananda.
Yes.
This year was extremely enjoyable to watch, especially the final round, because you like the plan was always this.
Yes.
Always this, right? The plan was there. We knew who was going to win. 6-stroke lead on the final round. AB was killing it,
AB,
right?
yeah.
And for for those of you who
You were on a roll today, dude.
who whine about his nickname being AB, get over it, okay? People are going to call him that. Moving
Why are they
on.
whining about his name being AB?
Because his name's Anthony, and a lot of people call him Tony, and blah, 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 blah. Not everybody is close to him to know what his preferred nickname is. And in disc golf,
Oh, man.
AB, it's easy, it's quick. Okay?
You don't get to pick your nickname sometimes, man.
Well, it's not him.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
definitely not
like,
him.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
like
Like,
these-
usually the nickname isn't chosen by you anyways.
No,
Right?
exactly.
It's chosen by somebody else giving you the nickname.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Like, oof.
AB,
Get over that.
AB had a 6-stroke lead going into the final round.
Mm-hmm.
He had Aderhold, Ezra, who was the closest, 6 strokes back. And then 8 strokes back was Burr. I don't even know how this happened, but it came down to the last hole.
Yeah. Again.
Well,
Like another, like,
it came down to the
exciting-
last
well,
2 holes.
2. Yeah. Really
last 2
2
holes, yeah.
Another, like, event that was, like, amazing to watch.
Yes.
Because when it comes down to those last 2 holes again, you're like, oh my God, you can't stop watching it at that point.
Exactly.
Like, I love it when it's like that. Like,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, like, the tournaments where somebody's dominating the whole way through, that's still fun to
It's
watch.
still fun to watch.
But it's not as, like,
It's not as dramatic. Yeah.
right? It doesn't draw you in
So
like that.
if you haven't watched it, again, either sign up for DGN.
Now, do you remember where Calvin Heimberg and Cyananda came in at?
Calvin did make a push.
Right. Because he was close.
Wasn't he top 10? He was top 10,
Right.
but I don't remember where he is. 6th?
He's somewhere in there, but he was top 10,
think.
right? And then Sai
actually, she said she did okay. She wasn't mad about her performance. I don't know if it was top 10 or not, to be honest with you.
So when we talked last episode, I think I remember us saying, or at least me saying, that they would be probably top 10-ish.
Yeah. So
but not winning it.
Yeah.
So they definitely didn't
Neither of them did.
But I can't remember Cyananda's place right now off the top of my head.
So, well, moving forward, I'll definitely
she was up there, though.
Notations. So, for the second time this season, we have a two-time, or not for the second time we have a two-time winner. For the first time, we have a two-time winner. But for his second win, AB. AB did take it down.
Yeah.
And again, it came to those last two holes, and it was super fun to watch. It was
amazing. I
do want to say, Ezra's game was so solid that I'm going to call it that he gets a DGPT win this year.
Okay.
Come at me, haters. I don't care. I think Ezra will get a win
at discgolfshow.com.
Yeah.
And it does exist now, by the way.
So
I set it up.
So
you're welcome.
On to the constructive criticism. Okay, so
this is like your angry old man episode.
I've got a couple things here because there's I'll get to it all.
All right.
All is a harsh word. It's not all. It's a few things. I was not on hole 18 for FPO. I was not a fan of the rail which they were throwing off of. They were teeing off of a dock. I get it. Safety for the public. I was not a fan of there being a rail right in front of where you're teeing off of.
Change the tee then.
I think change the tee. Don't put it there because that right in your run up where you have a barrier.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the smartest move. Outside of that, the tee pads were definitely better than Waco Lake.
Oh, for sure.
But I did notice that they were still there was still a lip.
There was
still a step up to it. And I think, and this is me, again, these are just critiques. This isn't the end of the world. I'm not saying that this was a horrible event because of it. I think those things really, really need to be
dialed
cleaned up and dialed in.
Yep.
I don't think that there should be any bump where a person could trip and bail because
it's safety. Again, it comes back to safety.
It comes back to the player's your product.
Number one thing. You looking at me? Look at me. The number one thing you should be focused on is the safety of your players because why?
They're the ones.
They're your product.
Yep, exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
You don't have a product. You don't have anything.
Yeah. So those are my two critiques of
I agree with you there.
Texas State Disc Golf Championships.
Agree with you there.
The most recent events, and there were a couple. The main one, and I should have put these in better order. The main one was the 24 Collegiate National Championships. Big shout out to the winners. I'm going to run through them here really quick, if you don't mind. Okay. Because there were several divisions. The D1 singles, MA1 was Benjamin Zorn from Ferris State University. D1 team, MA1, UNC Charlotte. So Tom Shanley, Glenn Pfister, Owen Rice, and Jack Lang. You had D1 women's singles, Kelly White from UNCX. D1 women's team from Liberty University A, Julia DiMartino and Maggie Presley. You had D2 singles, Grayson Lifto from Liberty University D2. D2 team from UNCA, Jasper Till, Dylan Youngberg, Luke Sheehy, and Mitchell Massey. D3 singles was Will Hewitt from UNC Charlotte C. D3 team was Liberty University D3.2, Elijah Person, Kyle Sennett, Graham Clausen, Ian Rankin. Big shout out to all that. The reason why I go through those is I want to make sure that they are recognized because this is where your next group of players will be coming from.
Right.
These are the guys who get into these schools, which thank the colleges for providing a way in which you could actually get scholarships now.
That's really cool, actually.
Golf. Yeah. People are choosing their schools, whether or not there is a disc golf team there. So I think it's amazing, and I do want to give recognition to those players that decide to end up competing in these collegiate national championships.
Right. I mean, they are the children, Nick.
Yes.
They are the world.
And it'll be interesting to see how the collegiate tournaments or divisions grow over the years. How many more schools are going to involve these? I think it's just going to go higher and higher, which I'm sure everybody is assuming the same thing.
You know, we got to make it a better place.
Okay. So while this was going on, while this was going on, there was a stop. There was a stop in Greenbrier, Arkansas, for the Persimmon Ridge Resort. This was the 6th annual event there, and I don't know. I know that they showed some interviews prior to it. I watched a little bit of it. A lot of the pros were basically saying this is easily a DGPT venue.
Could be, yeah.
It's gorgeous. It has the parking and the space for fly shop or what it is. God, I always mess that up. Not pro shop, but like for vendors.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And it's kind of like this little oasis. Like you come through the hills and it drops down to this golf course where it's disc golf course.
Makes me hungry. You ever had a Persimmon?
So
they're good.
It's like park-ish, but they use it very well because it was a golf course, or it is.
Very well manicured.
The winners of those events, or of those divisions, FPO and MPO.
Jeremy Koling.
Right?
Yeah.
He said it's his first A tier win in like 6 years or something like that.
Yeah. He's on my roster, man.
Yeah. And who?
Yeah, Kristin Tattar. Nobody cares. Okay? Nobody cares.
I mean, I care.
No, I'm just
Kristin.
kidding. I'm kidding.
He doesn't care.
I'm kidding. I'm just giving Nick crap.
Good job.
Actually, she's not even on your roster, nor was this event.
I got robbed. That's why, Roger.
He made a slick move, actually.
Yeah,
really smart move.
He was very smart with that pick. So let's move on, because reason being, while watching these events, event, I guess, Texas State.
State. I was right, by the way.
Yes, you were very
Texas
right.
State, not States. Yeah.
I have some additional, not for the course or venue, but for DGN Constructive Criticism. Let's dive right in. No, just kidding. I do want to say that when you post a tournament to watch live for whatever tiers of subscriptions you have, and then you have another one that says no ads.
Yes.
Right? Pro subscription, which I'm trying to support. I want to, I want to see. And then I go and I pull up both streams, and I notice that the only thing different is that I'm not seeing ads, yes, but all I'm looking at, the only thing I see is either the scoreboard or the featured hole. That's it. There's no commentary, there's no noise, it's just this random view if you're looking at the featured hole, if that is it, because sometimes it was literally just the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, so the difference from the, not basic, but the next tier to pro is double.
Yeah.
It's like $130.
Yeah. And if the main attraction is to get no ads, then what is the value of having no ads?
I would rather see the ads, because then I can see some product.
I was just about to say that. I would almost rather see the ads than just staring at nothing.
Now, the other thing that the one thing that really does help, and I can say this was interesting to see when I first saw the subscription levels, is that you get tickets to an event.
Yeah. That's
so
cool.
You get tickets. You get 2 tickets if you have the pro subscription to any DGPT tour event, right? What?
Figure out how to actually redeem
so
those?
That's the other thing. I haven't looked into it deep, so maybe it's easier for me to find than I'm thinking, but I don't know the full process yet. I'm not going to knock you on that yet.
No, probably if you just dive in there,
I'm
it's
going to look into
obvious,
it. Hopefully it's fairly simple to figure out.
Yeah.
I just, right off the gate, like when you log in, if you go to your account, I don't necessarily see something that says choose your event here.
Right. Yeah, something like
You're
that.
a Pro Tour subscriber.
Which honestly,
pick your tickets.
That might be pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Like just having like when you go into your account, if you have that Pro enabled, it says your tickets here, and then that just leads you to whatever page it does to figure out if you've already redeemed them.
And it would be great if it, like, you go to the Pro Tour website and it has all those events listed in order.
Right.
If it would just a checkbox with all those events listed, and you can check this box, and then you can say place order or whatever it is you want to redeem ticket
and
voucher.
Maybe that's how it works. I don't
redeem
know.
Ticket voucher, but I'll look into it more.
Right.
I didn't see anything super apparent initially.
Because we were thinking about getting tickets to the one in Stockton. So
to the OTB, yeah. So I'll look into that. But the no ads thing, like, okay. The other thing here too that I noticed at Texas State was it looked weird to me. Well, one, can we not use old turf with football lines on it? Can we please not use these tee pads with white lines? And then what do they do to fix it? What do they do? Oh, they just spray paint green paint over it. It doesn't look the same green. You can tell what you did. Just get bare green turf. Having white random lines on these tee pads looks horrible. And granted, I know, growing pains. Nick, shut up. We get in there, blah, blah, blah. Great. Get there, please. Get there a little quicker.
Well,
dude, listen, I get it for A-tier events. For Pro Tour, buy some turf.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, this is
tell the venues, hey, you need to swap those out.
Yeah, this is the face of your event. Like, you got to make it look good. Tacky stuff like that, just that sells the, and hate to say it, it sells the common kind of concept that disc golf is just a joke.
Yeah.
Right. It's that thing that hippies play or something. You know what I mean? Because like even on like the news and stuff, like on ESPN, I remember watching a clip and like the anchor was like, disc golf.
Yeah. Right.
Why is this on here?
Yeah. Well,
why are we covering that?
That's a whole other issue.
You know what I mean?
Like this lack of respect.
But that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
That sells that image.
It doesn't help
further.
Yeah.
You can't have those type of things, right? And that's cheap to fix.
Yeah.
That's an easy fix. So it seems minor at first, but those little things we can't do at this point.
Yeah.
You know, you want the sport to grow, do it right.
And like I said, like if you're the DGPT, and again, all support. That's all I have for DGPT, DGN. Like, absolutely. I'm here to try to support you guys. I'm just trying to give you critiques that I think would benefit in the long run.
No, absolutely. I mean, overall, doing a fantastic job. It's great, but there's like little things you could improve.
Yeah, and I know you're not going to be able to bring turf and supply it to the venue. You know what? Have that as a mandatory check mark on the venues that want to be part of the tour. You say, listen, yes. However, you need to swap these things out. Right. You have to, because it's mandatory. It's just not. Yeah, exactly. The other thing too is what I was leading to is it was weird to me to see turf tee pads just in grass. Like, turf is a substitute for what?
Grass.
Just use the grass if you're going to do that. Yeah. If you like that, that's fine. Or at least bury it down flat again with the little rises and stuff like that. I just it's most likely 90% of you or whatever, 99% of you probably don't care about this stuff. It's me.
I think it would look cleaner too if you just had like flags.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Again, don't compare us to golf, right? What does golf do? They just have these little markers at the tees. That's it. They use the grass and that's it. Yeah. If you want to use grass,
that's fine.
More power to you. It looked weird to me when I was watching the event.
I can't think of a purpose of doing that.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah. And then the last thing, and it's again, it's no slam on anybody. I know there's a lot of hands and eyes in this on the network and everything, and I'm sure they're not all in the same spot. I'm sure there's people that are switchers for the channels that are not there at the venue.
Oh, yeah.
I get that. Try to be a little more diligent with your switches.
Oh, right.
One of the things was I was sitting there watching. Simon was about to putt on hole 18. On hole 18. Later on, they ended up showing it. But on hole 18, he's ready to putt. And right as he's like getting ready to putt, they switch over to a commercial. And I'm like, why? Why did you do that?
Wrong time.
He was right there. He was you could have gotten it done right there.
Right.
In the switch. But that was more of a little critique because,
Well, I've noticed too, and obviously this will probably get better as they go on. And
exactly.
the teams become finer tuned,
yeah.
And they're used to working with each other and they're getting that rhythm down. And there'll always be exceptions, right? Like stuff just happens sometimes in a live kind of situation. You can't help it, right? But when they have the person that's filming the chase cam and here comes the shot, boom, great, goes in or lands next to it or whatever, and they're all ready to leave, and he puts his camera down at the ground and starts walking, and then we got to watch that for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, oof, you got to switch before that happens. So the communication between him and the switcher or him, like, hey, hold that there for 10 seconds to give us time to switch.
That's a good option.
Then, whatever way the communication needs to work and fine tuning that, it'll get there.
My personal opinion on that,
it's kind of funny to watch.
It's probably going to be a little more critical.
Uh-huh.
What is your job at that point?
Oh, is the chase cam?
What's your job holding a camera?
To film the event and the people, not the ground.
So do it like a job.
Yeah.
Film. So when you're done filming, just follow one of the players.
Sure.
Don't just drop it because that's extra content. You never know what might happen, which leads me to.
As long as it's not delaying the game, though.
No. Of course not.
Like if you need to pick it up and move.
But it's a lot smoother transition than, we need to switch because the camera dropped. The camera dropped, switch to a different one,
Yeah, just put it on your shoulder.
Yeah.
At least that's better than ground.
Yeah, because then we can see things like this. And I used to be a strong supporter when it comes to discussion about passion in general. Okay. Passion for what you do. Very important, right? Yeah. You need to be passionate about what you do. To a point.
Okay.
To a point. You can't take that passion and use it as an excuse for your frustration and anger. And the only reason I say this is we need to move past. He's a great disc golfer. He's been in there for a long time. He's been, going at disc golf forever. Nico needs to control his temper, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to not bang the chains because he got mad about missing his putt or whatnot. He just needs to be able to control it better, dude. Like, you're a professional athlete. I don't care who you are and you say, oh, disc golfers aren't athletes or this or that, whatever. He's a professional athlete.
I think
we are past the point of passion.
I don't know. I think there's always a place for it. And I don't necessarily see anything wrong with displaying a little bit of frustration on the course. I think that's fine.
It's how it's displayed, though.
Well, yes and no. So, like, okay, we're watching baseball, right? So I remember when I was a kid. Now, baseball's been around for quite a long time, and it's been a professional sport televised for quite a long time, right? Even before I started watching it on TV as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I would watch this guy, Randy Johnson, the big unit, right? And intimidating pitcher, right? 3 mile an hour fastball, 101 mile an hour slider. And he was just super self-critical too, right? You could tell he was a perfectionist. And he's on TV, mind you. And he'd do something like he'd mess it up and not hit the zone he was aiming at, right? And not get that strike that he was aiming at, or just mess up generally. And you'd see the frustration on his face, right? Yeah. And I think he actually did get a talking to because he used to swear and you could tell what he was saying because you could just read his lips.
Oh, easily.
And then he started swearing into his glove because I think somebody told him, like, dude, you're on TV.
Smart.
We don't want to.
It's a smart move.
However, that when you see him like getting frustrated and angry and riled up, you're like, yeah, get him, And that as a fan, I'm like, that kind of pumps me up a little bit. I'm like, yeah, man, that guy's passionate. I like that guy. I like that.
Yes.
Like that guy loves the sport and he's super critical of himself. He wants to be the best and I want him to be the best, right?
Agreed.
That's kind of what that inspires. And a little bit of frustration, like Nico slamming the chains, like, I can't believe I missed that putt. Good. But when he's getting in people's faces and he's causing confrontations because he's mad or frustrated, that's not professional.
Well, here's the thing.
And I don't think that's acceptable.
I'll give you the slamming the chains.
Sure.
I'll let go of that. Mm-hmm. It's the look afterwards as he's walking towards the camera.
Okay.
Like, take it out. Uh-huh. I don't need to see, like, you hate the camera operator. like, get it out, dude. Like, and here's another thing. Thing. There are other ways to relieve frustration. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I've seen players, I don't like it, but I understand this more. Bend their putter. Their second putter. They have a putter or something.
Their stress ball.
Yeah. But when you slam it and like have this like disgusted, angry, horrible, like it's just, to me, here's what it comes down to. To me, it's don't use passion as an excuse. Don't use passion because he's passionate. I like passion, like I said.
Sure.
But do not confuse it with anger. There's a difference. There is a line, however thin it may be.
Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to the dark side. But
there is a line there that you need to be aware of. You're on live streaming TV. I just think I think they need to be held to a higher standard.
Yeah, I just, as long as he's not interfering with the game, I just don't think.
I'm just getting tired
that it's going to be.
Honestly,
I understand it.
I think that's more than anything.
I understand it, and I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, I'm like, if a player wants to be, frustrated and be known as the angry guy of disc golf, all the more power to him.
It's good to have heels. It's good to have heels.
Sure, like I know it's just whatever. That's how he wants to conduct himself. Yeah. Okay, as long as it doesn't cross that line, right?
Yes.
You're not getting in officials' faces, and you're not doing stuff that's ridiculous.
And those lines vary for every person. I get that.
Sure,
I think it's more for me.
Slamming chains and looking angry into the.
I think it's because I'm tired of seeing it.
Sure.
I'm just tired of seeing it.
I get it. And I'm not saying your point's not valid and your opinion's not valid. I'm just saying.
Yes, you are. No, just kidding.
It doesn't bother me.
All right.
Upcoming
events. Mm-hmm. Next show, you'll hear us discuss these events. And the next 2 weekends, if you don't have DGN, get it if you can. April 12th through 14th, the 2024 Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open.
That's going to be a good one.
And then the April 19th to 21st is the Music City Open. So those two are going to be awesome. Go check them out. Go subscribe if you haven't to Disc Golf Network.
Yes.
You get a discount if you link your PDGA number to your subscription, and it's a half discount, so it's significant.
Yep.
Okay. So there was this unique situation. It was more for a local guy through, again, Roger. He sent us this. We'll be checking this disc out. Thanks, Roger. But he brought this up, and I think it is something that needs to be addressed by the PDGA and how they validate or allow people to play in Worlds events.
Oh, okay.
Reason being, there's a gentleman. I don't know if I need to use his full name. David. Okay. He is in a division that he has over 2023. He played enough where he has more than enough points to play in AM Worlds, right?
Okay.
Doesn't matter division. The division he's in, he has enough points.
Okay.
The beginning of 2024, which is when the Worlds that you're trying to qualify for from 2023, right, is in 2024.
Makes sense.
So in 2024, he decides, you know what? I was number one globally.
Okay.
In my division.
Sure.
In AM. So you know what? It's time. I'm going to bump up to pro. Right?
Okay.
So he becomes pro beginning of 2024.
Okay.
Now, the problem is there's a big gap here. The PDGA is saying because he is pro now, he cannot play in AM. right?
Okay.
But even though he has enough points, even to play in pro, because it was made in AM,
it doesn't qualify
he can
him
now
for pro.
not even play in the pro division.
Gotcha.
That is messed up.
That is
messed up.
That's pretty bogus.
That is messed up. So there's this again, this like limbo area where you either got to decide to go pro early in the year for the following year.
Right.
You should not be left. There should be some sort of an allowance. Either he has enough points even for the pro, let him slide into pro.
That's what I think is the differentiator there. If you have enough points to get into pro,
yes,
and then you want to convert to pro,
you
then,
still need the points. Yeah, I get that.
And then your registration fees and everything are now commensurate with pro.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
So now the problem is that now there's this issue of him not being able to play in AM because he's now considered pro, and now he's not being able to play in pro because his points were awarded to him in 2023 for AM.
Yeah,
that is not cool.
PDGA needs to fix that.
Clean that quick.
Yeah,
because that's not good. That's not a good look on you where you're omitting somebody who is the #1 global player in his division.
Yep.
And he can't play in either Worlds events?
No.
Come on, man.
Honestly, that's almost unacceptable.
Come on.
Like that should be addressed immediately. I'm actually surprised.
You should make that allowance now. You should be like, you know what? We're addressing this. We're going to fix it now. And from here on out, we've corrected
and I see, the possibility for oversight on that one because how often would that happen?
Exactly.
However, you now are faced with that. Fix it. You better.
Yeah. Because that's not cool. That's not cool. He's blocked out of both Worlds events. That's messed up. When he's been playing for a long time, if he's good enough to be #1 globally in his
Has
division.
he reached out to the PDGA?
I think that's how it started. I think that's how he's in the process, I believe. I think that needs to be something that needs to be rectified.
If you need like signatures on like a petition or something, let us know. I'll sign it.
That's what we should do.
I'll sign it for him too.
That's what
twice.
He should somehow create a petition sheet for people to sign.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, that's not a good look. Not a good look, PDGA.
No. Fix that.
All right. We're almost done here, so we'll move on to a couple questions here.
Ooh. Are you going to hit me with them this time?
Yes, I'm going to hit you with a couple questions. First question.
All right.
What accessory do you think every disc golfer needs to carry in their bag, and why?
Towel. For obvious reasons.
And you know what? Here. Let me get rid of the obvious ones. Let me get rid of discs, towel, a water bottle, a mini. Yes, everybody needs a mini.
Yeah. Okay.
What's something that's unusual that you think everybody should have?
You just took my second, third, fourth. Okay. An accessory that everybody needs to have. Well, I honestly think, and it might sound like one of those like, ooh, but it's not, because not everybody carries one.
Yeah.
I didn't for a while, but now I do, because I believe this is actually a kind of a necessary accessory. Really, somebody in your group should have one, right? It's something to fetch a disc with, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my favorite one by far is it's a little telescoping rod, right? Like most of them are.
Mm-hmm.
And on the end of it is a little like ball that has like suction cups all the way around it, right? And you just right onto a disc. And it gets them out of water. Doesn't matter if the disc is wet or not.
Yep.
You can get it out of a tree because it'll just suction to it, or you can just smack it out, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the suction is so strong on those little suction cups because of the surface area that it just picks it right up. There was somebody
capable.
at a turn. What was his name? There was the Ice Bowl, Rocklin Ice Bowl. What was his name? He won the thing when we were running the Fossa bag.
Bill.
Yes, Bill. But what's his? Everybody calls him Princess. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jeez, I couldn't remember. I think Princess had one, and I'm like, What is this? He's like, yeah, I saw someone with it. I just made my own. I'm like, this is in G. Do you sell that? I will buy one from me.
Yeah.
And he doesn't sell them, but I would have.
There's a place that sells them.
But I went and picked one up from a place that sells them.
Yeah.
But ingenious. I'm like,
yeah,
that one in my bag, the next chance I got to put it in there. So I think a disc retriever, super important.
And you know what's cool about that
a disc
too?
in a tree and you just had a rod to smack it down with.
What's cool about that too is it's not as awkward for storage.
Yeah, it's real easy.
Like some of the ones that have the bars that go around that you can scrape and or the hook. The hook is really tough because that's all you have is a little hook.
Yeah.
The bar makes more sense because it catches the disc.
But it catches on everything else,
It catches on everything else. That suction cup thing.
Ingenious.
Super smart.
Love it.
Super simple and super smart.
Yeah, and it's come in handy so many times.
Out of a tree, in the water.
And here's the thing. Like, you go in, into the water, into the tree, it's going to take you a minute with all those other disc retrieving devices, right? Like, for me, it's just, click, done, I'm back playing.
Yep, yeah.
There's no real delay in the game,
That's a good one.
right? Like, it's
a good one.
So for me, that's it. But
I think one that a lot of people may not think about, and it's not necessarily used, it probably wouldn't be used as much, but it's actually kind of I think a pretty good thing. Nail clippers.
Nail clippers?
One, let's say you impromptu round of disc golf and you need to trim because it hurts or they're too long to play, right? Whatever.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Outside of that, you can use them if you get a cut in the disc. Just trim that little slice off.
I
trim
didn't
that
think
little
about
piece
that.
of plastic. I know some people will take their lighter and kind of try to melt it down back.
Yeah.
But you can just clip it off too. If it's small enough, obviously.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if it's a huge wedge,
I think that's a neat one. Another one, hand warmers, especially for
those are
the
nice,
inclement
actually.
weather.
Yeah. All that terrible inclement weather we have here in California.
Granted, here in the mornings it's still chilly right now, but granted here it's not. But any of the northern states, like year round, you could use those things.
Like Minnesota,
you know what
Wisconsin
I mean?
Or something.
Yeah, any of those.
Yeah.
Those are great. So big shout out to Koopa. Go check them out. And then so here's another one. Here's another one. Final question.
Okay.
Do you think that earbuds?
Final
and
answer.
we've talked about this before, but I wanna go over this. Do you think earbuds are an advantage or disadvantage during a disc golf tournament? During tournament play?
Buds, like
earbuds, like AirPods.
And you're like listening to something?
Yes. Do you think they're a disadvantage? Oh, the other thing too is, do you think they should be allowed?
That's where my thought process was going. Like, should you even allow that?
Well, because here's the thing. If you look at it as either an advantage or disadvantage, it's not a fair playing field.
Well, outside of that, like, advantage or disadvantage depends on the person. So I can tune out things and focus to music. Some people cannot. That will distract them further.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be a disadvantage for them. So even before getting there, I don't think it should even be allowed, honestly, unless you only have like one in. Unless you have one in, you can't have two in. And why do I say that? For safety on the course. And that's really the only reason. So if you got your music cranking, you got noise canceling on, and a disc is coming your way and people are calling 4, and you don't get out of the way and you get smacked.
Yeah.
It's your own darn fault, but that's not safe, right? And then that's the liability that goes into that you just don't need to worry about. A kind of safety forward, safety first kind of focus. So I don't think it should be allowed with both in, right? Advantage or disadvantage, I think it's kind of a moot point. But to answer your question, generally speaking, I think it's if you're that type of person that can tune everything out to music, it would be an advantage for you.
Okay. So ultimately what I was getting at was the fact that I agree. I do not think any music device should be used during
A tournament.
I will say, at minimum, the tour.
Oh, yeah.
The pro tour.
Yeah,
Disc
pro
golf pro
tour.
tour.
Yeah.
I think they should be banned. I think even it being an advantage to a small number of people, it's still an advantage, not a level playing field. I think that when you're playing disc golf at that level, you should be able to block out the things around you. That's why you're there. You're making money playing disc golf.
I mean,
you should be able to do your best at playing the way it was intended to play.
and if you think about it, other sports actually, that is a thing.
Yeah.
So think about it.
It is.
You're at a football game or you're at a baseball game and the crowd gets loud, right?
Yep.
Right now,
It's
if
part
you're
of
on
the
a
game.
football field, it's hard to hear those calls, and you got that to work into it, right? And or you're in baseball and everybody's like, and it psychs the batter up, or like the pitcher's like,
That's
oh
part
my
of the
gosh,
game.
right? The crowd's coming alive here. Like it adds that pressure. And so it is part of the game. And as a professional athlete, they have to be able to focus through that.
Yes.
Be professional enough and athletic enough, I guess, if you think about it, to be able to focus even though all that's going on. So absolutely, in other professional sports, it is a thing. Other outside elements being a distraction, you have to be able to power through and focus.
And one thing I do got to say is the reason why I put it on here, and again, we've talked about this multiple times. I wanted to kind of hit this hard was because I think it was even Brody said, it looks weird. To me, it does look weird. To me, seeing something in somebody's ear while they're playing whatever, granted, again, that's just a personal preference. It looks weird. That's a personal preference. But I think ultimately in the long run, I think it's just, you should be able to, and your job is to be able to zone in and get into that state of mind while playing this sport that you love in a way that you can block that stuff out.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Part of it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
No, you don't need to. You already said your piece.
No. So I'm going to play devil's advocate.
All right.
So you would say that something in somebody's ears and playing and distracting them from the outside environment would be an advantage, right? If you can focus under that, right?
Okay.
What if they're deaf?
I knew you were going to say that.
Should we allow them to play? They can't hear anything.
That assists them to hear. And as you said, safety, you need to be able to hear in certain situations. What if they're completely
deaf, can't hear, and they don't have anything in their ears, but they're deaf, they can't hear? Should they be on the course? That's not safe.
I think they should be allowed to wear it, but if they don't want to wear it, it's not a big deal.
Okay. I was just devil's advocate. I don't think we should prevent them from playing. But
no, that's a valid
well, it's like
viewpoint.
It's like it actually is kind of how I think about driving, right? When you're driving, you are not allowed. You can have the stereo cranked as loud as you want, but you are not allowed to have both earbuds in and drive, right?
Yep.
But deaf people can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And the reason you can't have both earbuds in is because you have to be able to hear emergency traffic coming, right?
Yeah.
They can't anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, but their other senses are heightened, right?
Yep.
Okay. But it's that thing that I think about, right? They should still be able to drive.
Yeah.
But you basically do everything. This is how I think about it. If you can, you should do everything in your power to be safe as possible.
Oh yeah.
So if you are able to hear, then don't remove that sense.
Yep. Yeah.
Allow yourself to hear.
Yeah.
You're doing everything you can. If you can't hear to begin with, it's not a concern for you.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's how I think about it.
Good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Oh yeah, are you? I know one thing that we are on the same page about, Nick.
No, we're not, because you're ahead of me.
Yeah, true. I did beat you this time.
Oh man.
I think I came in. Was it second place?
I don't know.
Come in second?
I don't care anymore.
The glorious number 2 spot, because one's already given up.
I don't care
to somebody. He whose name we shall not mention.
No.
Is leading us all.
You hate us.
I think we have to have that guy on the show as the third member, and he just covers everything fantasy disc golf because apparently we don't know anything, and he has proven time and time again
every event so far
that he does. So
it's so frustrating, dude. Here's the thing.
Job offer coming.
Hold on. Here's the thing.
Huh?
I feel.
Yeah.
I feel that if one of your players that's on your team, if they win, you should get some sort of bonus. You chose the winner. Not just 1 point away from second place.
AB's on your team?
No. It would apply to anybody who had a person that won their event. Just because it helps me out in 2 tournaments this year has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying I think that there should be some sort of, you guessed the actual winner. It should be better than just 1 point separation between first and second. But I'm playing it as it is. That's not how it is. So don't yell at me. Nick at discgolfshow.com. Yell at me all you want.
Yeah. Well,
Ken, good job.
I think there actually is something though, Nick, that we do 100% both agree upon, and that's saving money. We both think that you should save money. We like to save money. You should save money. And what's one way that you can save money? It's by using a code DiscGolfShow at discdrifters.com for 25% off of select property. So plan out your trip, put in that hotel you want to stay at, plan out that airfare, and if it qualifies, hey, put in that code DiscGolfShow and you might save 25% off of that trip. Who don't want to save money? It's a no-brainer.
Hey, if you have the pro subscription, you get 2 free tickets.
Oh my gosh.
To an event. Go on here.
2 free tickets, and then you
make it a trip.
How much money is that?
See?
That you could save.
25%. That's how much.
You know what? Speaking of saving money, you could use the code Disc Golf Show at another place, and that's Upper Park Disc Golf to save 15% off of your purchase. If you're looking for a bag, they have really good quality stuff. I know. I have a biased opinion because I have one of their bags, but I like the quality of their bags. That's the reason I have 2. I gave the other one to my son, but I had to buy a new one for me, obviously, and I want to buy quality. And when it comes to quality, Upper Park Disc Golf definitely says quality. So if you want to pick yourself up some merch and save yourself some money there, go for it. Disc Golf Show to save yourself 15% off. This episode was brought to you in part by Final 9 Sports. They have 2 locations, one in Rocklin, one in Roseville. Support local. Support your local places, please. If you'd like to contact us, leave us an email at theshow@discgolfshow.com. And actually, it does. Test this out. Nick at discgolfshow.com. It really does exist now. I put it in place for you.
Bring it, haters.
For you. All right. And I think that does bring us to the end of the show. So for me and for Nick, we'll talk to you guys next time. And remember, in disc golf, as in life, aim high and let it fly.
Later.